It's amazing how quickly so many of us have adapted to being on platforms like this. I did a television interview the other day on my iPhone. And it's just like the combination of the informal tools, but how many people you can be reaching is kind of incredible. I mean, never before um, have we had that kind of access. So here we are, pioneers during the pandemic,
Yes,
making it
indeed.
happen. Doing
So
the
it's
first live
official.
coverage, the first live coverage that's ever been online of First Friday. First Friday's been around for quite a few years, but really growing and really reaching finally kind of its critical mass. I think right before this happened, the shuttle bus was, the free First Friday shuttle bus was to have launched in April. So here we are instead doing other new things that we didn't anticipate.
You know, sometimes it takes a crisis or something unexpected to kind of nudge you into the next paradigm. And so here we are. So we are now live on the online radio station for Studio 809 at studio809radio.com. We're live on Facebook, and it's showtime, Angela. So thank you, everybody, for joining us for this special edition of the Peaktown Square podcast on Studio 809. I'm Dave Gardner, founder and manager of the Studio 809 podcast collective and now online radio station, joined by Angela Seals, deputy director of the cultural office of the Pikes Peak region. Great partners. Thanks for being on the show,
Thanks so
Angela.
much for having us, Dave. We're so excited to use a community radio station, the podcast collective, and the new online station to really raise the visibility of First Friday and virtual First Friday, which has really been an incredible development here during the COVID-19 pandemic. The support for the arts that has turned out at the first virtual First Friday last month was incredible. They raised $20,000 for 15 galleries. Tonight promises to be even bigger and even better. And we're going to cover that first hour live together, aren't we, Dave?
Yes, indeed. So that's pretty exciting. So in a way, it's kind of a sneak preview, except that what we're previewing is really already happening, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. It all kicks off at 5 p.m. And continues through 8 p.m. For virtual First Friday, you can find all the information at peakradar.com/virtual First Friday, and right there from the homepage on Peak Radar. There are 20 creative venues tonight that all have videos online where you can tour their shows on video from the comfort of your couch, and also buy art tonight. And our first guest is David Siegel, who I believe is in the waiting room right now. And he's with the B. Vradenburg Foundation. And the B. Vradenburg Foundation and the Downtown Development Authority have offered a special challenge tonight to inspire even more art sales and to make the financial support of those art sales tonight for local galleries and local artists go even further. So here with us is David Siegel, Executive Director of the B. Vradenburg Foundation. Hi,
There's the
David.
man.
Hey there. Nice to see your faces.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for helping us kick off our coverage.
What an honor.
David, I'm thinking the last time I spoke with you was probably at Meadowgrass almost a year ago. So it's good to have a chance to chat. We should do it more often than annually, however.
We can work on that for this year. And sorry to hear that Meadowgrass isn't happening this year, but really happy to hear that they have all of their bands, or almost all of the bands, confirmed for 2021. So we can look forward to seeing each other there, if not sooner.
Yeah, we can look forward to that. And really just want to thank you and the B. Vradenburg Foundation for the great support that you're giving to Virtual First Friday.
It's our pleasure, and really all of the credit goes to Claire Swinford and Angela Seals for their work putting this concept together. We write the check, which is the easy part, and they came up with the program, which is the much harder part.
I'll give all that credit to Claire, but I am here tonight and we are all talking about Virtual First Friday, and particularly right now while we have David with us, we want to highlight art sales during Virtual First Friday. So there are 20 creative venues that are all selling local artwork online tonight. You'll find them all at peakradar.com. And in addition to supporting local business and local creative sector with your art purchases tonight, there's an extra pot to sweeten the deal. David, will you describe to us how the B. Vradenburg Foundation and Downtown Development Authority have a challenge going on tonight for people to participate in?
Absolutely, yeah. So we want to encourage people to buy art. We know that the community needs art, and you need art now more than ever. You're sitting in your homes looking at blank walls, like the lame wall behind me. And so we want to create that extra little bit of incentive. And so with Downtown Development Authority, the B. Vradenburg Foundation will tip participating galleries $50 every time you buy a work of art. That's every time you make a purchase of at least $50. And there's some legalese on the website about exactly how it works, but basically you just email your receipt to Claire at downtowncfcs.com, at downtowncS.com, and Downtown Partnership handles it from there. So they'll get a check directly to the galleries to help support the operations of galleries that we know are struggling to get through this time.
It's such a great idea because it really, in addition to giving the grant money to local galleries, and it also really inspires people to make purchases, to hit that $50 mark. If you hit $50, then the challenge doubles your purchase, which makes a huge difference. But of course, you can also go ahead and spend whatever it takes to get those gorgeous things you want. We've seen lots of posts on social media all day today of paintings and pottery and incredible local jewelry and sculptures and all kinds of different things. So definitely hop on peakradar.com. And as David mentioned, some of the exact ways that the challenge works is also right on top of the virtual First Friday page.
Angela, I'm so glad you mentioned all of the videos and stuff that we're seeing online. The silver lining for me in all of this is I've seen work from artists that I've never had the chance to actually see their work on Facebook, on Instagram, on the videos on peakradar.com, and listening to artists like Deb at Kreuzer Gallery about her work. That's not an experience I normally get on First Friday. And so it's really exciting to see the way the community has rallied around virtual First Friday like this.
It's true. This whole situation has really kind of kicked a lot of parts of our arts community out of the nest when it comes to their digital presence and doing digital programming that normally they're so focused on those live, three-dimensional, rich experiences. And now there's a little bit of extra incentive to explore what's possible online. And we have seen a lot of studio tours and artist interviews. In just a few minutes, we'll have 45 Degree Gallery on. They've been doing great artist interviews. And Kreuzer Gallery, Deb Comator, who you just mentioned, will be on in a few minutes with us. And she also did a studio tour and an interview with Kreuzer. So yeah, I agree. It's amazing how much we can see right now of our arts community online, more than we ever could before.
Yeah.
Let's just, I think the good trick is going to be to keep the best of this when we can finally start being in person again and having that great community. Hopefully it'll be better than ever combined, integrated.
Yeah, all the layers together will take us places we've never been. David, I also want to give you a minute because B. Vradenburg Foundation is our arts foundation here in our region. And as soon as the pandemic began, you guys were right alongside the arts in several ways. I want to give you a chance to talk about the Artist Relief Fund and let people know about that incredible work. That was really the first thing that you came out of the gate with, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we were lucky enough to have a board meeting the Friday that the pandemic really hit. And immediately our trustees said, we need to support individual artists. Individual artists will be our most vulnerable. And so working alongside the Pikes Peak Community Foundation, the Tiemens Foundation, the Cultural Office has helped support this work. Arts organizations like Opera Theater of the Rockies have helped support this work. By working alongside those groups, we were able to build a fund, and we're continuing to give out emergency assistance for artists in the Pikes Peak region. You can visit the website for that. It's actually through the Community Foundation, which is ppcf.org/artists-needing-assistance, or search the Artist Recovery Fund for the Pikes Peak region. And so we're able to provide transitional support as we wait for the unemployment dollars that are now available to independent contractors. We're able to provide that bridge support to help bring our artists through. And ultimately, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but we know that artists are going to be essential in helping us get through this recovery. And if you look back for the last millennia, society's always turned to the arts in times of crisis. And we want to be sure that we have a thriving arts community when it's time to begin recovery. And so supporting our individual artists with the Artist Recovery Fund, supporting our galleries alongside downtown partnership with the virtual First Friday Challenge. These are all just small ways that we can do our part to support the arts community so that the arts community can support the broader community when it's time to begin recovery.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And the cultural office completely agrees. You know, we've had an unbelievable momentum in the creative sector, particularly in the past 5 years. There's been so much growth, and we've been on an amazing trajectory together. As our city grows, that is critical to being the kind of city we all want to be, and we can't lose momentum now. We know the arts have been hit really hard, particularly individual artists. Americans for the Arts says that 85% of individual artists have been experiencing unemployment in the past 6 or 7 weeks. And so tonight, with Virtual First Friday, and also through the Artist Relief Fund, our community can come alongside them right here, our neighbors.
Yeah, and come alongside is exactly right. And if you're in a position to support the arts, number one, go out and buy some art tonight. There's incredible stuff on the walls and online. Go out and buy some art. And you're able to give to the Artist Recovery Fund. You're able to, rather than asking for refunds for tickets that you may have purchased, use that ticket as a future and pay it forward. Donate that ticket to the organization because their expenses don't go away. So if you are in a position to be able to support the arts community, every little bit counts, and we're so grateful for that support.
And thank you for everything you're doing at the Vradenburg Foundation, David, and for sweetening every purchase made during Virtual First Friday between now and 8 p.m. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having me. Go buy.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Next, we have Scott Levy here from the Fine Arts Center at Colorado College. Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
We are so excited about what the Fine Arts Center is premiering tonight as part of Virtual First Friday, and premiered earlier today, the new Connect FAC. So would you tell us a little bit, I know I just asked 2 questions at once, but will you tell us just about today, Connect FAC, and then tonight, the launch of the virtual play that is now streaming?
Absolutely. Connect FAC is the Fine Arts Center's new home for digital content that we are pulling from our archives and creating during this time, and that we plan on having content well into the future. Sort of a new channel of our programming. And one of the first featured items in this launch is our streamed performance of The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, a 75-minute play based on a young adult novel by Kate DiCamillo. And we were in the middle of our performance run when we suspended performances due to the crisis. And we shot the final performance that we were able to have with one camera, hoping to use it as an archive so that we could restage the show as soon as we're able to open again. But we got permission from the authors and from the entire artist company to be able to stream the show for a week, starting tonight through next Thursday. And you can just go to fac.coloradocollege.edu, look for that FAC Connect button, and sign up to watch a streamed performance of this wonderful play that's about love and hope and perseverance and appropriate for the whole family.
It's such a great opportunity to join you guys as you debut this new program, and the fact that it's donation based for people to stream is really wonderful. The spirit of Virtual First Friday tonight is about supporting the arts community and the community just investing in that and letting them know that we care and that we'll put some money behind that care. And so yeah, I hope people will stream the show.
And you know that you can get a ticket to watch the performance for $0. We want to make it accessible to everybody. But if you can provide a donation, all of the proceeds are going to all the artists who made the production, all those individual artists, actors, designers, musicians, artisans, etc. So we're excited that we have that resource to be able to provide as well.
Absolutely.
Scott, for people who might be listening to the podcast version of this next week, we'll include a link in the show notes. And what's the final day that'll be available?
The stream is available through Thursday, May 7th, and then on Friday, May 8th at 6 p.m., I'll be hosting a live Q&A session, much like this, with the actors, and everybody who's watched the stream performance can submit questions live, and we'll answer them right on the spot.
Wonderful. Well, you are also one of the great artists in our community, Scott Levy. Thank you for what you do at the Fine Arts Center, and we can't wait to see the future things that you will direct live and in person.
Yeah, we have lots of plans coming.
I know you guys do. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to turn to our next guest, and you're welcome to stay, Scott, if you want to chat a little bit with Reed, or you're welcome to head on out. Hi,
I'll
Reed.
hang out.
Great.
Hi, Reed. How are you? Reed is the owner of 45 Degree Gallery, family-owned gallery in Old Colorado City, with his wife, Emily. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Yeah, we're just getting started with the virtual art walk tonight. Emily's actually on the phone with some customers as we speak, so that's great news. And we have a couple different artists that we're featuring tonight, 2 local artists and one of our few out-of-state artists who unfortunately couldn't make it with us tonight. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, right when the pandemic began, 45 Degree Gallery began your 10 at 10 video series on Facebook. It's been wonderful to get to meet your artists. And
that was a really fun project to do. We learned, I mean, we know most of our artists pretty well, and we kind of got to dig a little deeper into kind of what motivates them. It was really fun.
So you're a great example of some of what we've been talking about tonight, Scott and Reed, is that this virtual layer is going to have a legacy, and that some of those layers are going to really enrich our live programming once it's able to return. Reed, what do you think you guys have learned as you've explored Virtual First Friday and the 10 at 10 series and other programs like it?
I mean, the one thing that we learned, just like the overwhelming support from our collectors and local community has really touched us, and that's been really promising. And just kind of, just diving into what can we do to make this work, and communicating even more with our artists on kind of what they're doing and how can we promote each other, because we're not just supporting ourselves and our own family, we're helping support 30 other artists in this community. And so we kind of feel like an obligation to help support all those people as well.
I love that point you just brought up, because galleries are small businesses, and in your case, family-owned local business right there in Old Colorado City. But they also have an incredible ripple effect, because they are the platform from which all these individual artists can access a client base and sell their work. Hi, Emily. It's nice to see you. So you're having some sales already tonight.
So exciting, so exciting. It's such a great opportunity.
Very, very good. Dave, do you have anything you'd like to ask Reed and Emily about the gallery or about tonight?
Boy, I'm just, you know what? I'm distracted by the great pieces of art that are right there on the wall behind you. Anything that you want to say a word about back there?
Yeah, this artist is Stephanie Moon. She actually lives just a few blocks away from our gallery, and she was going to be here this evening doing a live demo. But so she is kind of one of our featured artists tonight. And with the purchase of any one of her original paintings, she does these like card sets. So we're doing a card set for free with any purchase of her work this evening. Another artist that we are featuring this evening is Robin Scapatisi. She's a potter. I think Emily's going to go grab a few of her pieces. And with any purchase of some of her pottery, you can pick out a free ornament. And then our third artist, Andrew Warble, does India ink washes. If you purchase any of his pieces, doesn't matter what size the piece is, we will custom frame it for $100.
Wow.
So that could be anywhere between like 20 to 70% off, depending on the size of the piece you buy.
Yeah. So you guys kind of get a little bit of a sense. I mean, Reed and Emily are fantastic business people, and so they know how to take advantage of something like virtual First Friday. But at the 20 creative venues that are all participating tonight in First Friday, you'll find things like this, like a little special extra, whether it's a little special giveaway or Emily's demonstrating some of the beautiful framing that they do right there from 45 degree. And so that's another extra incentive tonight. Hop on peakradar.com and check out those galleries, including, of course, 45 degree. And then also the live events that are going on from performance venues like the Fine Arts Center Theater Company, which debuts The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. Did I
Got it?
All right. Streaming now through May 7th.
7th, yeah.
All right. Very good. Dave, I wonder, do we have Deb in the waiting room yet?
Deb's in the green room. Should we let her in?
Okay, let's let her in. Thank you guys so much, everyone, for joining us. Reed and Emily, good luck tonight.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Angela.
for
Thanks,
hopping
Dave.
in and being part of this. And Deb, welcome to the conversation. Deb Comator is showing a solo show of work that opens tonight at Kreuzer Gallery in the downtown creative district. And Deb is a local painter who is well known and widely regarded for her paintings of trees. Hi, Deb, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
Are you in your studio?
No, I'm in my office. The studio is all concrete, so it would be, the noise would be bouncing.
Darn, it would have been
But
visually
that's one of the
wonderful.
paintings.
Yeah.
Those of you who are interested in seeing Deb's studio, follow her on Facebook, and she's always posting pictures of works in progress. It's really fascinating to see the painting from beginning to end, and a lot of them have ended recently because of this big solo show that you have
Yes.
at Kreuzer. Tell us a little bit about the show that opens tonight, Deb.
Well, I've been working about 1.5 years on it to get it all together, and I paint forests, I paint the woods, and I use my own photos. So we travel, and some are the redwoods, some are the Pacific Northwest, some are as Middle Shooks Run where we live, the trees here in the creek. And you know, my idea is to take people on a hike. You know, so they can walk into the pieces. They're very large paintings, and I want people to feel like they've been on that hike with me, and they get the sense of being in the woods, of what's around the corner, and kind of traveling through them. So yeah.
That is what looking at one of your paintings is like. You're so wonderful at light and at the dappled light that comes down through the leaves. And then the scale that you usually work at is just so impactful when you stand in front of a canvas of that towering scale, and the light it just really does draw you deep in to the forest.
For the
Yeah.
last 5 weeks, everybody has really needed your art hanging on their wall.
I know, right? I've needed to be making it so I can travel as I paint it.
So for people who would like to have that experience of standing in person in front of one of your paintings, Social Distancing Saturday will be an opportunity for them to do that. Throughout the month of May, the Downtown Creative District invites you to sign up for private appointments to visit the local galleries. I'm going to say this off my memory, but I believe it's $45 ticket, and then you can make 5 appointments at local galleries in the downtown creative district, including some places like Ladyfinger's Letterpress and other places that you might not think of as a traditional gallery. They're absolutely creative spaces downtown. So you could make an appointment to visit Deb's new show, which is called
Windows on the Woods.
Windows on the Woods at Kreuzer Gallery, and be the only one in there with those huge paintings in that quiet white space, which probably feels like a church. I can just imagine.
Yes.
Kreuzer Gallery's been posting pictures of what it looks like in that white space, that very horizontal space with your towering paintings. I think people should definitely check out Social Distancing Saturday. And then you're going to do an artist talk, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to do a video, so that'll be posted next week. We're also working with some area poets, and they've been getting some of my images and writing poetry.
Wow.
So they're going to come and do poetry readings, and we'll videotape it, and we'll be sending that out at some point this month too. So a lot of different pieces going together to get different arts involved with it.
I love that, and I love to see those ways that you're bringing it to life, even in the face of this crisis, because I know you've been anticipating this show for a long time.
Yeah, and then we, we kind of debated what to do, and I said, people need it right now. You know, they need art. Artists need to create, and you know, it's a way to take a breath with all this that's going on. And it is. I had one woman that emailed me that had saw the show yesterday, and she said it was really a spiritual experience just to see the pieces. So, you know, it comes from my heart to your heart.
Awesome. Well, Deb Cometor's work is available for sale online tonight at Kreuzer Gallery, and Sola Gallery, which is inside of Kreuzer, also has work from all of the previous shows for months in the past tonight. So definitely check out Kreuzer Gallery's website to see Deb's new show and other artists, local artists that are for sale tonight until 8 p.m. And remember that challenge grant.
Lots of Mother's Day gifts out there for people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you so much for joining us, Deb.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Wow, we actually got caught back up, Angela, didn't we?
Oh, fabulous. We're right on time.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing we could spend a minute on, unless you have a better idea. I had hoped early on, and we didn't get to it, but I wanted to give you a chance to really, if there's anybody left out there in the universe who doesn't know what peak radar and copper are, you want to tell us briefly about the organization that you
Sure.
so humbly work for?
That's a good moment. I kind of just breezed right past that. Right, so I'm the Deputy Director of the Cultural Office of the Pikes Peak Region, which is your local arts agency. And we exist as a nonprofit to support the creative sector in El Paso and Teller counties. And we do that in a lot of ways. We raise the visibility of the arts here. We encourage people to put more value on the arts, to invest more in them, and we try to integrate the arts into all different sectors, just really weave it into the life of our region. And one of our biggest ways of doing that, most well-known programs, is peakradar.com, which is our region's cultural calendar. And tonight, Peak Radar plays host to Virtual First Friday. Since it is an online event, Peak Radar is the perfect place for us to host those 20 creative venues. So you can hop over there, check it out if you've never been. You'll find, in addition to Virtual First Friday, a host of different events all year long. Normally we have about 150 to 250 events a week. During the pandemic, we had a special category called Peak Radar Virtual, which normally has about 40 different organizations that are hosting online events. So even while you're stuck at home, please check out peakradar.com virtual, and remember that the arts community is always here. People are always making, and you can always tap into it. So that's a little bit about Peak Radar, why we're part of all of this. But in a few minutes, we're going to be joined by the organizers of First Friday. And they're going to talk a little bit more about that specific program. When it comes to First Friday, the Cultural Office and Peak Radar are very much playing a supporting role. And we do that a lot in the region, come up alongside, whether it's arts organizations, arts groups, or artists, or completely not arts organizations. We partner in all kinds of surprising ways to make sure that the creative sector is deeply integrated and really serving the community. So this is an example. And we partner with Studio 809.
Yeah, this is I was kind of glad you brought that up, because this is exactly right up Studio 809's alley. We're a little over a dozen podcasts that are originating in and serving the Pikes Peak region. You can find the podcasts at studio809podcast.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. This program that Angela and I are hosting right now will be available as a special episode of Peak Town Square early next week. And the podcasts are constantly playing on our new online radio station at studio809radio.com. I hope to see us partner with Peak Radar and Copper and the Downtown Partnership and everybody who's doing good things in the Colorado Springs community going forward. And we've got our next two guests in the green room.
Well, this is just the beginning, I think, of good things ahead. And one of the good things ahead is about to join us now. How's that for an introduction?
I didn't hear the intro.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
We were just talking about our partnership, and I said, that's just this tonight is the first of a lot of good things ahead. And I said, and two more good things are ahead.
Aww.
And then you both came in. Hi, Natalie Johnson and Claire Swinford. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Natalie
Happy to be
Johnson.
here.
Natalie Johnson runs the Manitou Springs Creative District. Manitou Springs Arts Center is on the Manitou Springs School Board. This is deeply folded into the life of Manitou Springs. Claire Swinford. Claire, what is your title? Because you're in the head of so many exciting initiatives. You're the manager of the Creative District in downtown Colorado Springs. Is that a good summary?
That is a good summary, but there's a little more to it. So I'm the Director of Urban Engagement. So anything that brings life to our city's historic heart, that falls under my purview.
All right.
Wow, that's a great elevator pitch, and you've got it down, Claire. Good job.
Yeah, First Friday has grown over the past several years to encompass the entire creative corridor. Now official creative corridor from downtown Colorado Springs through Old Colorado City into Manitou Springs. Tonight we've already talked with some folks who represent those creative districts. And now we've got two of the original planners of First Friday. So guys, we've made a really dramatic pivot last month into virtual First Friday and had a pretty great success story that first month. Tonight seems like it's even bigger. Tell us how you're feeling about Virtual First Friday here on May 1st.
Well, this is Claire's baby. This is her thing. I am definitely a supporting person in this conversation. So Claire, kick us off.
Well, Natalie, it's super exciting. I've been sitting over here tabulating the Virtual First Friday purchases as they come in. As you know, people can purchase from any of the galleries listed on Peak Radar's Virtual First Friday page. And as long as they send me their receipt for at least a $50 or more purchase, we go ahead and throw in a $50 tip on their order to the gallery to help them stay in business. And I am only caught up tabulating the results from the first 5 minutes, which should tell you something.
Wow.
Right. And let me just get this number right. I'm pulling up the stats right now. In that first 5 minutes, we had 30 transactions totaling over $3,000.
Oh my gosh.
You believe it?
I said to Dave, when we were putting together the concept of having all these personalities on and doing this live coverage, I said, we won't make it feel like a telethon. But like right now, I'm kind of loving that feeling because it's good news. It means the community is turning out and supporting the arts tonight in really meaningful ways. Thank you so much for that sneak peek into how it's going out there on the internet.
Now.
Yeah, click.
Exactly. There's a lot of places to click, many clicks.
Go there now to get your tote bag.
So can you talk a little bit about the virtual version of First Friday? I mean, this is a completely different kind of an animal to be managing, to be organizing the creative venues around. I know we have like 20 creative venues tonight that are all a part of it. it feels a little different. It feels different in 3 dimensions, of course, because it's online and because the gallerists are sitting often alone. Like we saw Emily and Reed Fair in their echoey, quiet, gorgeous gallery, you know, but they're like interacting with everyone online. So of course that feels very different. But I wonder if you guys can speak to kind of the mood of First Friday. It seems to me like it's really caught a different energy, a different kind of a grassroots support feeling. Can you talk about how you've been feeling about it?
I mean, I think one part that I really appreciate is that there's the video moment as well as sort of the online purchasing moment, so that we are creating these little experiences and allowing galleries to have an opportunity to tell their story. So I think there's a little more depth to it than just a buy this here sort of moment.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that Claire picked up on that right away, because I think that does make it sort of more than just an opportunity.
Yeah, that's true, Natalie. I was surprised at how moved I was watching a lot of these videos. It gives you an incredible feeling of the potency of this experience of First Friday, the sort of power of this community, if you will. But it's also rooted in the experience of being removed from it by a screen. It's also a very nostalgic experience. You know, if you're watching Fox 21 News tonight, you'll see live reports from some of the downtown galleries, and it's an incredible feeling of nostalgia, and it's also a forward-looking sort of feeling, like how wonderful it's going to be in the moment where we can all get back to interacting with these beautiful exhibits in person.
Claire, you're talking a little bit about the nostalgia people have for how great First Friday has started to be and their desire to get back to it. Can you give us a sense of what has started to look like? Because people might be watching who've never participated and
my
don't know
goodness.
how big it has gotten or what it is normally.
Normally, it just feels like a holiday, even though it's just a Friday night. The experience of walking into a gallery that is crowded and there is live music happening in a corner and people are greeting each other, so excited to see each other, looking at these beautiful pieces. There's this palpable sense of excitement, and it's a very inclusive sense. My experience in my job a lot of the time is taking people out to First Friday for the first time, and they get this expression on their faces like kids on Christmas morning. Like, I had no idea this was here. This is such a wonderful thing to be a part of. Not only for the art on the walls or the live performances taking place, but feeling like you are a part of a community that is rooted in a shared experience that is all based on aesthetic appreciation of someone's creative work, someone's heartfelt message that they wanted to put out into the world. And that, I think, goes back to the base of what it means to be a human in community with other humans.
Yeah,
and
how art buying is different than other kinds of consumerism. There's so much more relationship in art buying.
Absolutely.
So on a big First Friday, how many events might be going on a given First Friday in downtown?
Just in downtown, we have anywhere between 2 dozen and 3 dozen locations that participate regularly.
Yeah.
Some of those are galleries, some of those are other kinds of retailers selling locally made products. Some of them are restaurants who work with local artists to create menus based on what you see on the walls. But it's an incredibly diverse group, and I know that's true for Old Colorado City and Manitou as well.
Yeah. So Claire's just saying, like, normally there would be like 30 venues just downtown. Natalie, talk a little bit about First Friday in Manitou Springs and what that feels like. When it comes back, I want people to get out there and check it out. I want them to ride the First Friday shuttle bus to Manitou Springs.
Sure. I mean, so it is a slightly smaller experience in that we're talking about 8 to 12 different venues and events happening. It's very walkable. Again, things are happening indoors, outdoors. And so as you sort of journey throughout, things are happening all over the place. I like to tell folks the story that if you come out to First Friday, 1 or 2 times in a row, maybe 2 or 3 times in a row, folks will start recognizing you, welcoming you in, and again, you can quickly become a part of that community. It's just a matter of actually just making the time and participating and then you're in. So it's a really nice way to do that. And we see a lot of the same faces in addition to new ones every month. And that's another great feeling to have. I think a fun thing about Manitou is that, we are not known for our sort of tech skills. And so with this transition, particularly last month, it was so great seeing folks, like we were telling the Green Horse Gallery story of just, they were figuring out a way to participate in the way that they knew how to participate. And then even this month, they're savvier and there's more to each sort of experience. And so I actually think it would be fun to look back on our first virtual First Friday and our last virtual First Friday and sort of see all the different new things that we've learned how to do that have actually enhanced our ability to be better business people in a way that we never would have otherwise.
There is so much innovation and there is so much learning and fast learning. And sometimes I think that's good for us. I think that what keeps us from doing things is that fear of failure and the desire, particularly in the arts community, for everything to look really good, even when you're just experimenting or trying something new. And I think that pressure was lifted a little bit. I mean, there was the urgency, but then there's also just do something. Just do those first few weeks. We're just getting something out there. And it was kind of wonderful to see because it really does have a lot of human connection, and it does have a lot of repercussions for those businesses probably from now on. It'd be exciting to see how First Friday continues to grow when these two pieces merge.
Do you ladies think that, do you have any reason to believe that all of the people who have taken the arts community for granted are now more aware than ever and will rush to the streets the minute they can to go to the real live in-person First Friday, the minute you can offer that in 2024?
Oh gosh.
I do.
Things.
I just had to throw that in.
No, I do. I think that again, when everything happened, I believe that the art community, the musicians, the actors were the first people out there trying to make us feel safe and comfortable and part of a community in our homes. And hopefully folks remember that experience and remember how that made them be okay with everything. And so that carries through after we are back in around the community.
And I know on the patron side, we were actually hearing from a lot of people who said, I might not make it out to a First Friday normally, but now that you're offering it virtually, I can participate. Yeah. And that was an experience that mattered deeply to them. Seniors who maybe don't drive after dark, parents of young children who don't want to drag their 3-year-old to a gallery after bedtime. They're finding virtual First Friday allows them to participate on a level that they didn't get to before. So I see this effort by the galleries to innovate and learn those tech skills as a wonderful tool to open up new audiences for the artists they represent. And I heard from at least one gallery owner who said, I accept that I am stuck doing virtual First Friday every month until the end of time because I have established a whole new audience.
That is such a great point about access. I think we're discovering that there were people who were not able to experience some of these arts offerings in the past for a variety of reasons. And some of it is geography. Like there are people who are able to watch, like tonight when the Journey of Edward to Lane, we had Scott Levy on earlier talking about their premiering 1-week streaming of this production at the Fine Arts Center Theater. People all over the world can watch it. Like that gives me goosebumps, like that our arts community is becoming more visible, not only to our local neighbors who couldn't always make it out, but also nationally and internationally through these virtual experiments that we're all doing. Yeah.
It's really funny to see the nationwide reach that some of our galleries have. And again, I'm going back to just the data I get from their purchase receipts, which is obviously a tiny proportion. We know there are a lot of people participating in Virtual First Friday who don't have the means right now to make a purchase, but are enjoying that live content anyway. But just from the receipts, I'm seeing people in I won't say every state in the country, but all across the country supporting local arts businesses in Colorado Springs. And that's an amazing feeling that somebody in Brooklyn, someone in Dayton, Ohio, someone in Scottsdale, Arizona, when they think of Colorado Springs, their primary frame of reference is our arts community. How cool is that?
Oh, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Claire and Natalie, thank you so much for joining us and taking a few moments, because I know you're busy running such a vibrant virtual First Friday tonight until 8 p.m. But thanks so much for popping in and giving us.
Thank you for making this happen. This has been fun.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Dave.
Good to see you.
We're joined now by Lauren Ripko and Ashley Perry, who both represent the vibrant business district of Old Colorado City. Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Thanks.
I'm good.
Thank you. Thanks so much for popping in to talk to us. You have a very important perspective that we wanted to make sure was part of our hour of coverage tonight during the first hour of May 2020's virtual First Friday. And that is that First Friday isn't only exclusively about galleries. It's also about these business districts that host these vibrant, creative ecosystems that affect the restaurants and the bars and the clubs and the other stores. We have so many, for example, in Old Colorado City, so many independent businesses, stores, boutiques, and that line between gallery and shop really gets very blurry. So I wonder if you guys could just speak a little bit to what First Friday means to the Old Colorado City Business District.
I don't know who that was. We're here. Lauren, do you want to go or you want me to go?
Go for it.
That's Ashley.
Yeah,
We're going to hear from Ashley.
Yes, sorry, this is Ashley. So it's, it's everything. Like you had said, it's all encompassing. If we have a thriving, wonderful art scene, we definitely have a thriving, wonderful boutique and cultural scene, as well as independent shops. And that's predominantly what Old Colorado City is your run-of-the-mill mom and pop shops that have been around for 25 years, 40 years. It's or they decide to be, come in their inception with their great ideas and their great galleries. But I've really seen just the whole community, as I've been with the organization for over a year, just kind of flourish and bloom and kind of take shape in different ways. And it's really exciting.
Lauren, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, this is the 15th year of the Art Walk in Old Colorado City. And so I know that in talking to galleries in early March, in our board meeting for the associates, it was kind of okay, well, this is what's coming. We don't know what's going to happen, but be prepared for something to happen. Just keep this in mind. And it's really a big deal. We had a big launch planned. Sharon Wolf from Hunter Wolf Galleries is the brainchild, and she runs Art Walk in Old Colorado City. And she was ready to launch 15 years. And so to be able to do it on this platform last month was incredible. And to see how many more galleries have become involved. And beyond our galleries, we have By Design Gems who design all kinds of jewelry custom in their shop, and Heartshake Studios. Julia is doing some incredible stuff with local artists in the studio. And so it's fun to see the district change a little bit. We're definitely trying to be a little bit more on the map. The shuttle has helped. And so I think that art is really important in the community. It's something I'm very passionate about. I'm glad to see this happening.
Well, thank you both for what you do to bring that all to life. Old Colorado City is so special because it has that gorgeous pedestrian feel, the trees, the sweet little shops. It's a wonderful place to go spend hours. And I know you're both also involved in planning major events that also activate that business district throughout the year. A lot of people go for territory days, but truly it's been amazing to see your creativity as you've come up with such fun themes around getting people to come out to Old Colorado City in every season of the year for all kinds of fun things. So thanks for what you're doing over there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was sorry that we have to give up territory days this year. How's Bancroft Park coming along?
Well,
Question
It's
I
looking
asked.
great.
that's the question everybody wants to know. It's the $1 million question. It's coming along. It's looking beautiful, but it's definitely the weather. We've been so fortunate, so they've been able to speed along and get that completed. And I think we would have loved to have used it all summer long and all season long. It's kind of a bummer that we can't do some of our events there, but it's there. It's happening. It looks beautiful.
Well, hopefully it'll be ready when we're ready.
Yeah.
It reminds me, it's kind of a metaphor for, you know, the Colorado Springs Chamber and EDC sent out an e-blast, and one of the things they were talking about today was keep building the infrastructure for growth. Don't stop building the infrastructure for being amazing, because it's gonna eventually kick back in, and we want to be right there, just like we were right before this started. And so Bancroft Park is like a promise of future days and future First Fridays. Well, thank you both so much for joining us, for giving us a sense of what First Friday means to the business districts, for supporting the creative businesses up and down Old Colorado City, and for being part of the creative corridor. Old Colorado City, as you said, the Art Walk's been around for 15 years, but when Manitou and Old Colorado City and downtown aligned and made that creative corridor and First Friday, I think it's one of the great success stories of collaboration in our region. So way to be leaders, and we can't wait to see how it continues to grow. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for
Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
We're joined now by Linda Weiss from the Colorado Springs Conservatory, which, like all of our guests, has been exploring all the potential in the world of virtual programming. And
Lots
it's
of
gonna
silver linings.
yeah, silver linings, yeah. And tonight at 7 p.m. is going to premiere their another night of their Jazz Night concerts, virtual concerts. So Linda, I know you have several virtual programs going on right now at the conservatory, but would you start by just giving us a little promo of what's coming up at 7 p.m. with Jazz Night tonight?
Sure. Well, and Angela, Dave, thank you so much to all of you and the whole team at Copper for doing what you're doing. It's so important, and it keeps it makes so many people happy. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? But tonight at 7 o'clock, we'll be having our second virtual jazz night. And it really came about for that very reason, that we were hearing from both our constituents and of course the students and the mentors. You know, we miss sharing, and so well, what is it going to take? So the first one was so well attended. We had only 100 seats, and there were over 200 people in the waiting room, if you can imagine.
Wow.
And so God bless. I will do a shout out to Herman Tiemens, who we all know and love, who, when I posted that we were going to do one on Friday, said, I will not wait in the waiting room again. So I will sponsor your ability to enhance attendance at these jazz nights. So thanks to Herman Tiemens and the Tiemens Foundation, we'll now have up to 500 seats, which I'm sure we'll pack, right, Angela? But it's what's in store. Of course, the students, and the students are brilliant. We have a brilliant senior class this year. And I'm really pleased to say, because again, silver lining, because everything's virtual, we can include a lot of the alumni that would normally not be accessible. So you'll hear from some of the alumni. And again, for our stakeholders and for our community, you all helped us raise these kids. So, you know, to see Bridget Benson up there and know that Bridget's been with us since she was, I don't know, 6 or 7. And now she's studying jazz, trumpet, and vocal up at UNC. That's huge. Ricky Jumper is also up in Denver studying jazz on a full scholarship. He'll be there. And I'm also pleased to say that in addition to our mentors, Wayne Wilkinson, Todd Williams, Andy Birchie, David Musante, Christina Wells, we're joined by Thomas Dawson Jr., who's going to be playing some tunes with us, and then Wally Mark, who many of you know, is a jazz pianist from The Famous and the past owner of Good News Piano and Organ. So again, there's just a lot of love, and everyone cares deeply about this community and the fact that we can share and that you're out there helping us to promote. It means the world, guys. Don't underestimate that. We see it every day, all day, from our little tiny babies and their families,
all the way up through the teenagers, that staying connected through the arts is who we are as human beings. So thank you.
Well, and thank you, because the conservatory brings a wonderful performing arts aspect to many First Fridays. Regular First Fridays, you can be fun. You're doing jazz nights often during First Fridays downtown in the Lawrence Dryhurst, right?
We outgrew the conservatory, then we moved to Lawrence Dryhurst, we outgrew that, then we moved to the Gold Room. And so that's kind of where we left it off, at the Gold Room.
Yeah, so that's to see, you know, guys, there's just like this common theme throughout this when we're talking to each of these creatives, like about how this program has been growing, and it's imperative that we keep supporting the arts community so it can keep on the trajectory that it has been on and just go further than we ever would have dreamed. Now we've got all this virtual stuff to carry us forward, but we had incredible live content as well. That's gonna come back. Yeah, and First Friday, as we said, when the in-person stuff and the virtual stuff kind of finally really collide and combine, it's gonna be the biggest First Friday ever. And just keep going from there. So performance groups are an important part of First Fridays, and they're part of what brings it all into completely 3 dimensions, and people who love all different kinds of genres of art.
Right. Well, what's neat about right now, I think what's interesting is that for jazz night, you'll hear individual artists, which the feedback we got from the first one was how much they appreciated that. I mean, they love the combo work, but how often do you get to hear Wayne Wilkinson in his, in his side kitchen room, playing some serious jazz? And so it's fun. It's fun, like all of us, right? We're going into people's living rooms, into their kitchens, into their, well, for the kids, it's like pretty much anywhere, the dining room, wherever there's space. But we're just, again, we're very grateful. At the end of the day, we are defined by our culture, right? And it's who we are. And so it's folks like you that help continue to make us realize we're all human and that we're all in this together. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for what you do. And you are all part of that. As Claire was saying a few minutes ago, the first 5 minutes of Virtual First Friday tonight had 30 transactions over $3,000. So we know that tonight, so we know that tonight the community is showing up and is showing that they want a creative city, that Colorado Springs, Old Colorado City, Manitou Springs, that the Pikes Peak region is about creativity as well, about innovation and about expression. And we have all kinds of ways of doing that. And we do a lot of it on First Friday. Tonight, you'll find the full schedule of Virtual First Friday at peakradar.com. You can visit there, over 20 creative venues, take video tours of them, and shop their incredible collections of local artwork. And you can also enjoy live performances like Jazz Night with Colorado Springs Conservatory, and the new production of The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane at the Fine Arts Center at Colorado College. There's so much to find. Check it out at peakradar.com.
Well, thank you, Angela. Thank you, Dave. And thank Andy, okay?
Okay.
It's good to see you, Linda.
Oh, it's great to see you. Keep up the good work. I'm going to post that picture I just took of you, okay, Angela?
Okay.
Carry on. Change the world. We got your back, sister. All right.
Thanks for everything you're doing.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, Dave, what a breathless hour that was.
Gosh, applause to you, Angela. You get credit for, I'd say, about 99.9% of this and how successful it was.
You just got to elbow me out of the way and ask your questions.
You just know your subject and put together a really great show. So thank you for this. I'm just really proud to support you and Peak Radar and Copper in this part of the First Friday happenings.
You know, Studio 809 is an incredible asset to the community because you bring this technical knowledge and you allow those of us who have great content to share it in new ways to broader audiences. So thank you so much for the way you're elevating voices across the region, and tonight for elevating what's happening with Virtual First Friday.
Well, you're welcome. Anytime. You have a direct line. You've got the bat phone, don't you?
Sure do.
Last words. We have about 1.5 minutes. We can always end early, but anything that you haven't had a chance to share that you'd love to share about?
And we just, from the perspective of the cultural office, we really want the community to know that the arts community needs you. The arts community is hit incredibly hard by this crisis, much harder than some other sectors. And it's fragile in some special ways because we have a lot of small groups. We're proud of the fact that we have over 400 arts and cultural clubs, nonprofits, creative businesses here in the two-county region. And they do really need our support right now. There's no way around that. Virtual First Friday is a great way to do it, but please continue to support them beyond tonight. You can find some tips on how to do that at culturaloffice.org. If you click resources, the top result is our COVID-19 Arts Response resource page. And we have some tips there for the community if you'd like to know how best to support the creative sector during this time. Tonight, we've mentioned the Artist Relief Fund at Pikes Peak Community Foundation. We've mentioned crediting canceled tickets forward. We've mentioned buying virtual tickets and buying virtual art. All of these things, even if they're small, even if it's a $10 donation to see an online concert, all of it makes a huge difference and it helps us have the kind of creative community that we want to have as we grow as a region. So thank you all for your support of that. You'll find virtual offerings at peakradar.com, peakradar.com virtual, until we can all be back together again. And then
24 hours a day, yeah.
Keep coming to Peak Radar to find as things open up, as the free outdoor summer concert series start to begin, perhaps, as things start to thaw and open a little bit. And even if it comes and goes, Peak Radar will keep you up to speed on exactly what you can participate in and how to connect to your community.
Super, super. Thank you. Well, we are now at the end. So this is Dave Gardner for Studio 809. Be sure to check out all of the podcasts at studio809podcast.com and our new online radio station streaming 24/7. In case you're not a podcast person, just head over to studio809radio.com and hit the play button and see what's happening.
We've got a flavor for every palette.
Yep.
Find us on Facebook. Find us on the internet. Find us.
All right, Angela.
And this is Angela Seals for the Cultural Office. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.